Why is ZywOo a much better player than you and me? To answer this question, I will analyze his playstyle on Mirage. I will show you 2 face-it matches where he completely dominated the enemy team. In this video, I will present some very important details you can steal from ZywOo's playstyle. These details will help you become a much better player on Mirage. Many things I show you here can even be applied in SoloQ. Let's start with a simple yet highly effective aspect of gameplay: positioning and decision making. The terrorists are rushing short and take down ZywOo's teammate on Edward. Many players would position themselves in the market window and try to take out the enemies from there. However, ZywOo takes a completely different approach. He realizes that staying in the market and playing passively leaves him with little chance to win the round. Once the terrorists secure the bomb site B, it's extremely difficult for the cities to retake it. Note that the cities are on eco, while the terrorists are fully equipped with plenty of utility. ZywOo's teammate is behind the bomb site, engaged in a gunfight with the terrorists who are focused on him. Taking advantage of this distraction, ZywOo decides to push through the market exit to assist his teammate. He kills a terrorist on short who wasn't even looking in his direction. Then he secures another clean frag. The advantage of the B bomb site is that it has a lot of walls you can hide behind, which allows you for an unpredictable place. You can take out a terrorist, hide immediately, and repeat from a different angle. Next, ZywOo watches the balcony. When he sees no enemy, he changes his position to fight with the terrorist on short. The cities just arrive from A side. Notice what Polflex does. Instead of staying in the market, he pushes through the market exit onto the bench to assist his teammate and distract the terrorists. ZywOo hears an opponent jumping out of apartments and takes him down with a beautiful flick. Now focus on what ZywOo does next. He white peeks and positions himself at an off angle, making it hard for the opponent to pre-fire him. You might wonder why his crosshair is placed so low. Before dying, Faris landed a body shot on the terrorist with a deagle. ZywOo had also hit the opponent earlier, so he knows that a single body shot would finish him off. It's much easier to hit the stomach than the head. After 2 deagle shots, ZywOo switches position again to make himself a harder target. The terrorist peeks from the right, and ZywOo closes the round with his 4th kill. Let's move on to the next example. The terrorists make a B split. ZywOo's teammate dies on short, and another teammate falls near the car. Even though his teammates are very far away, ZywOo decides to push B through the exit and take the fight to the terrorists. This is yet another round where he runs through the market exit instead of jumping out of the window. Why is this approach better? Pushing through the exit lets you spot terrorists rushing short earlier and use the exit as a cover. For example, you can take out one opponent and immediately fall back to safety. Additionally, you don't have to worry about getting shot while jumping out of the window. This allows ZywOo to eliminate a terrorist on short. Notice how the opponent wasn't expecting him to appear in that position so quickly. Then he aims at the balcony, lands a flick and takes out a terrorist on default. Although ZywOo is eventually killed, his 2 impactful frags turns the situation into 2v2 for the cities. These kills were crucial to winning the round. Now let me show you a simple way to surprise your opponents. ZywOo's teammate is positioned under wood and hears the terrorist rushing ramp. He reacts instantly, throwing a smoke of the ticket box, flashing ramp and jumping onto the box. He kills a terrorist on the wood and quickly eliminates another near Tetris. Notice something important. ZywOo doesn't stay static on the box, he makes slight movements between kills. Looking at the terrorist POV, you can see he didn't expect ZywOo to be in that position. The moment ZywOo appeared on his screen, the terrorist was already dead. Alongside the element of surprise, ZywOo was difficult to spot as only the upper part of his body was visible. This smoke opens up many possibilities. You can jump onto the box, move to firebox, or position yourself on the other side of the smoke. One terrorist rushed Ticket and killed ZywOo. However, his teammate immediately refragged him by jumping onto the box. After this frag, the teammate peeked from the right side of the smoke and took down a terrorist in Palace. Following the double kill, he retreated and repositioned on City. Pay attention to the enemy's POV once again. When terrorist saw smoke on City, he was afraid to peek. He aimed toward right side of the firebox, expecting a city to appear there. Several times he adjusted his crosshair towards firebox. Eventually, the terrorist peeked towards city, missed his spray and was eliminated. As you can see, only the upper part of the city's body was visible, making him hard to hit. This defensive smoke significantly complicates things for the terrorists. It allows you to pick from various positions and surprise your opponents while being difficult to notice. This unpredictability lets you use the smoke multiple times in a match, each time picking from a different position. Let's move to positioning on the map. During the pistol round, ZywOo positions himself on the right side of the window and crouches. He takes advantage of the fact that in CS, the player model's head leans slightly to the right. As you can see, most of his head is hidden behind cover. This makes it harder for the terrorists to hit a headshot, especially from such a long distance with a Glock. Now let me show you how ZywOo uses his opponent's mistakes. A terrorist throws a weak smoke in connector. This allows ZywOo to easily pick mid and kill the terrorist. Let's jump to round 7. One of the terrorists throws a deep smoke into connector. Most players would retreat and reposition after such grenade. ZywOo does the opposite. He notices that the smoke has gaps and picks from the right side, taking down a terrorist rushing catwalk. As you can see, the smoke actually worked to his advantage. It allowed him to fire an AWP shot and quickly retreat into the cover of the smoke. However, that's not the end of the round. ZywOo hears more terrorists on mid. He throws a nade into the smoke and holds the angle with his AWP. He then easily eliminates another terrorist who picks connector. Here is how you can surprise your opponents with great movement. In round 10, ZywOo jumps from the window to short. He turns away from the flash and then kills a terrorist rushing catwalk. Notice how the enemy was focused on connector and didn't even check short. ZywOo then turns again, anticipating another flash on mid. He repicks top mid and easily eliminates a terrorist behind the boxes who doesn't land a single shot. This jump to short was a risky decision, but as you can see, the risk paid off. While we are on the topic of the snipers, let me show you an example of ZywOo's incredible game sense. When terrorists smoke top mid, ZywOo adjusts his crosshair slightly higher. You might be wondering why he does this. ZywOo anticipates a terrorist jumping on top mid. Many players jump in this area to avoid being shot through the smoke by cities holding angles from the window or connector. Looking at the terrorist POV, you can see ZywOo hits him. Now let's discuss how to effectively separate duels when peeking from the window. A terrorist from underpass takes down a city in connector. Watch what ZywOo does here. He positions himself close to the right side of the window and peeks diagonally, moving back toward the rear wall. Additionally, as he peeks, he crouches. This allows ZywOo to focus only on the enemy on top mid and take him out easily. Notice how positioning near the back wall keeps him hidden from the terrorist in underpass. After this, ZywOo demonstrates a clever peek on the underpass player. He strafes midair, lands on the window ledge and immediately takes a precise shot. If ZywOo had been standing closer to the edge of the window and tried to jump, his head would have hit the top of the window edge and the opponent could kill him. Here's another example of separating duels, taken from round 18. The terrorists rush mid. ZywOo approaches the smoke and throws a grenade into it to destroy it. Pay attention how he checks positions. Instead of wide peeking, which could expose him to multiple angles in connector, ZywOo peeks gradually, focusing on one position at a time. He starts by checking behind the box, then moves his crosshair to the wall, using the D key to peek. This precise movement means he doesn't need to adjust his aim with the mouse. Next, ZywOo wants to check the left side of connector, so he performs a Ferrari peek. Even though it's a wide peek, he focuses only on one position. If there had been a city in the left connector corner, he wouldn't have seen ZywOo at all. ZywOo spots the opponent, and since his crosshair is already at the right height, he only needs a small flick to secure the kill. From the opponent's POV, you can see his crosshair is too close to the right wall. ZywOo's wide peek surprises him, and he has to make a flick. The key benefit of separating gunfights is being able to check all potential spots without the fear of being caught off guard and needing to flick. This approach maximizes your chances of winning each fight. Always stay focused while checking each position and visualize where the enemy might be so your crosshair is always in the right place. Now let's move to a simple but effective example of teamwork. ZywOo takes mid control and positions himself near the wall. A city smokes catwalk and one of the ZywOo's teammates throws a nade into this smoke, breaking it at the perfect moment. ZywOo spots the city and fires a few shots, forcing him to retreat. The city repicks mid, giving ZywOo an easy kill. I've noticed that ZywOo jumps when moving from the window to jungle. If a terrorist is aiming from palace towards jungle, he will struggle to hit him. This simple trick can save your life many times. Let's move on to some very useful grenades that ZywOo often throws on the T side. Let's start with 2 insta smokes, quick smokes for the window from specific respawns. These grenades make taking mid control much easier at the start of the round. Starting with left side insta smoke. You will recognize this spawn because there is a window directly in front of you. ZywOo aims between 2 small dots on the wall. Here's a tip for you. Position your crosshair slightly above the dots. If you aim too low, the smoke will bounce off and won't land properly in the window. ZywOo throws the smoke by pressing W plus jump throw. This smoke not only lands quickly in the window, but also prevents the city from destroying it with HE grenade. For example, in round 5, ZywOo attempted to throw a nade in the smoke, but as you can see he couldn't break it. The second insta smoke is also immune to nades. Throw it with the same W plus jump throw combo. It lands flawlessly with no gaps. If you prefer a slower variant, ZywOo has also one from near the trash can. Stand next to it, aim at the corner, and press D, jump and left click. This smoke also lands perfectly in the window. ZywOo also knows a quick connector smoke. He jumps onto the trash can, crouches, and aims slightly to the right of the carpet. Then he presses W, jump, and left click at the same time. This smoke doesn't leave any gaps on either side. If you are worried that a city might position himself in the connector and attempt to wallbang the smoke, you can throw a Molotov for the extra safety. A combination of a smoke for the window and one for the connector will significantly simplify taking mid control or rushing short. ZywOo has a brilliant Molotov for the A side. He throws it from the stairs by simply left clicking. The advantage of this lineup is that you can throw it while staying safely behind cover. This molly covers key positions and it makes taking A side much easier since cities can't hold from these spots. This Molotov makes taking A much easier for you. On the city side, ZywOo knows several useful grenades as well. Terrorist through an insta window smoke. ZywOo has a simple lineup for a Molotov behind the boxes. Such grenade forces the opponents into a fight. Terrorists then have 2 choices. Pick from the left side of top mid or move towards the right side. Your teammates on short or in connector can easily secure a frag because of this tactic. Let's move to B side. ZywOo positions himself behind the trash can and presses the left mouse button. Smoke lands in apartments. The advantage of this grenade is that ZywOo remains fully covered while throwing it, so if terrorists rush at the same time, they won't have a clean shot at him. Thank you for watching until the end. Click on the video on the screen to watch ZywOo's analysis on Anubis or on Nuke. Write in the comments which pro player you would like to see in the next video and on which map. See you in the next one. Bye!